Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with us how to go about the sewing of this plunge neckline top. In my previous tutorial we dropped and cut the pattern for this top, so if you haven't seen it yet, I'll be dropping a link to the video in the description box. Kindly check it out. So let's just get right into the business of today. I already transferred my pattern to the fabric, and here is the yoke I transferred to a skin tone net. You can use any fabric of your choice, you can use any net of your choice. Just make sure you use the one that matches the tone of your skin or the person you're making it for. Then these are the center front and the side front. I already cut it out. I added my wording to the actual fabric, then I had my visible interface. Because I'm using a lace fabric, I have a lining and interlining. Okay, and I already had my visible interface to that one as well. And here I have the back pattern. I have three pieces, two for the bodies and one for the yoke. All right, so the first thing we are going to do is start by separating the main fabric from the lining, so as to start by joining the fabric piece together. The first thing is to join the main fabric, and you can also start with the lining. You place all the front piece like this. You're going to have 4 all together. Same thing applies to the lining. We're going to be doing most of the work on the sewing machine because we wanted to see how to actually sew this piece together. I'm going to start by joining the fabric piece together. Then I'm going to stitch down with 0.5 sewing allowance. And here is the lining. We are going to repeat the same process for the lining as well. So when you are sewing this, you make sure that you align the bust point area, the under bust area, and you do not take more or less than the actual allowance you added for the sewing. Then you are going to notch round like this. So I'm done with the main fabric, and I'm going to do the same thing for the lining. So guys, I'm done doing that, and I already notch round like so. So after notching like this, what you're going to do next is to open press your seam. And when you're doing this, make use of a bust ham or a tailor ham to press your bust area. This is really important. Okay, so guys, I'm done doing that, and this is what it's going to look like. You open press, you notch, and you trim off if you have too much excess. Okay, and the right side should look like this. And here are the two sides. So the front piece is going to look like this. You're going to have two sides like this because we have a yoke at the center. And before you place the yoke, you come in with your center front pattern. The point where your yoke stop, remember, is a plunge neckline. That point, you're going to notch it on your main fabric, you're going to notch it on your lining, and you need to notch it on your pattern as well, so that you'll be able to transfer them to the fabric, just like I have my here. So, and here is the net. Okay, I'm going to place the net exactly on that point that we notched earlier. This is to indicate where the net is going to stop. All right, so that we do not take less or more than what we actually needed. So I'm going to be placing right side of the net on the right side of the fabric like so. Then I'm going to stitch around. I'm going to start the sewing from that point that you notch. Make sure you notch the point, it's really important. Then I'm going to stitch around on a 0.5 sewing allowance, or whatever sewing allowance you had it. So whatever you do on one side, you're going to do on the other side, and you really need to be careful when you're doing this because you're working with a net and it might be fragile. So guys, I'm done doing that, and here is what I have. Okay, so you're going to place the second side of the front, starting from that point where you notch. Okay, you're going to place it on the net like so, and you're going to stitch it down same way we did for the first one. So when you are doing this, you want to make sure that you check all around, you take your time and make sure that you are stitching exactly, so you can simply make use of a pin to hold this down before you start sewing. After that, now you're going to stitch from the waistline down to the point where you notch to secure that point. All right, and here is what it's going to look like. So what we are going to do next is to turn it with the lining, and this part you need to pay attention because it's a little bit technical. All right, you don't want to sew more or less than what you needed. So now you're going to place the lining on it. So this is what it's going to look like ordinarily. Just like the way we do our regular sewing, you're going to place the right side of the lining on the right side like so, using the same allowance that you have already. Then you're going to sew it together. When you're doing this, you need to pay attention to what you already sew. You don't want to sew more than the allowance you used earlier, or perhaps, or better still, you stitch on 0.25, and when you want to join the lining you stitch on 0.5 sewing allowance. I just hope you understand. And by the time you're done, you're going to flip to the right side, and this is what you're going to have. So you're going to repeat the same process on the other side, and make sure that you take your time and you watch carefully both the right and the wrong side of the fabric. As I'm done doing that, and here is what I'm going to have. All right, this is what the wrong side would look like. If you want to insert a ready-made backup, you insert it, and if you do not want to insert it, it's fine. And this is what the plunge area is going to look like. There will be no folds, there will be no smile lines, and there will be no pleats. All right, so this is how exactly you can achieve a seamless plunge neckline. The next thing I'm going to do is to work on the back pattern. Although the main focus of this tutorial is this front, but I'm going to finish up with this. So we are going to join the back piece together, just like the way we join our regular piece together. So this is what I'm going to have. I'm going to be joining the dart area for both sides, and I'm also going to be attaching a yoke on the upper part. So here is the yoke that I want to attach. It's just a piece. There's no need for lining. I'm going to be placing it on this upper part area like this. So on your pattern, you're going to decide on where your yoke is going to start or stop. All right, so you're going to place it right side, facing right side, only on the lace fabric. Remember, we just have one lining for the back. Okay, so I'm going to pin it down, and I'm going to stitch down on my added sewing allowance. I'm going to sew it together with the lining. So remember, we have zipper allowance at the back, so you are going to fold in the zipper allowance first, then whatever you have left, you decide on where you want your yoke to be. But I already notched this on my fabric because I have the point on my pattern already. So I'm going to work on this now. So I'm going to sandwich the yoke in between the lining and the lace fabric. Then I'm going to stitch it down with 0.5 sewing allowance. So you can either sew the lace together with the lace first before you join the lining, or vice versa, depending on how convenient it is for you. So I'm going to repeat the same process for the second part, and I'm going to stitch down the zipper allowance. So guys, I'm done, and here is the zipper allowance. By the time you fold it in, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, you can decide to have this kind of yoke, and you can also decide to have any yoke of your choice. So the next thing is to join the shoulder together. So just like I'm pinning the shoulder together, you're going to join the shoulder together, all right, using your added sewing allowance. Then you're also going to join the side seam. For the side, I'm going to use an inseam finishing for this. So I'm going to be sewing the fabric to fabric and lining to lining on both sides of this bodice. So I'm going to, what I did, I aligned the armhole area first, pin it down, and start measuring and marking my side seam. So here is what you should have by the time you're done. You should have something like this, and the yoke area should be like this in case you want to join, in case you want to attach a sleeve to yours. So I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side of the bodice. You start by aligning the armhole area. Your sewing allowance will definitely not enter your yoke if you draft your pattern correctly. Okay, so guys, I'm done with that, and after which I'm done, I stitch down the waist area, and I'm going to be placing, then I'm going to be joining the skirt parts to it. So the skirt part is just a basic skirt. You can go ahead and make any skirt of your choice. So after attaching the skirt, I'm going to fix my zipper, and we are going to fit this on the mannequin. Okay, this is actually a complete dress, but because the focus is just the plunge neckline area, I just decided to add the extra back pattern, the yoke, and every other part. Okay, so guys, that'll be all for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for always supporting this channel. Do not forget to like this video, share this video so that we can reach as many people as possible that might be interested in this kind of video. And do not forget to check the description box for the link to the pattern drafting of this tutorial that we did in my previous class. Till we meet again in my next one. Bye bye.